Welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I am Daniel.
I'm Chris.
We're two guys in a basement talking about Star Wars.
That's it. That's the show.
Yep. And probably you wouldn't even like us very much if you knew us in real life.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah. We have faces very good for radio, I heard. So, yeah, we've got a show today. If you're here for the first time.
First of all, hi.
Yeah,
how you doing?
Hello.
What are you wearing?
That's a good... Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah, you went there quick. Mm-hmm. We do the show every week. It's a live show. We do it live. So if we mess stuff up, I'm sorry, but it's a lot of fun anyway. We talk about Star Wars news and we do some lore stuff. Today we've got some news about Star Wars, and then right afterwards, after that, we're going to do a Star Wars story time.
Oh, good.
I've got another one.
Excellent.
To help us like tread water while we're waiting for the Vader comic to come out. Mm-hmm. And then after the live show today, we're doing a Battlefront stream right after at 7 o'clock. So make sure that you keep an eye here.
As long as Xbox Live doesn't blow up again.
Yeah. It's been working pretty well today. I played Red Dead a whole bunch.
If there was wood within arm's reach, I would knock on it.
Yeah. What else was I going to say? So yeah, Battlefront stream. A huge thank you to one of our sponsors of sorts, the Star Wars Hub. They're awesome. You should go check them out. If you are, presumably you're listening to us on a platform, either YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook Live. And if you're on one of those, you should check out the other two as well. Mm-hmm. So if you're on Facebook, go check out our Twitch. It's like 2 weeks old, twitch.tv/Jedi Enclave official.
Sounds right.
Our YouTube link is super long. We're not allowed to have a custom YouTube link because we don't have like 1 million subscribers.
Yeah.
So it's like youtube.com/J__ blah, 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 or something. Yeah.
The entire text of Frankenstein.
Yeah. If you just search for Jedi Enclave, you'll figure it out. And then Facebook, of course, is facebook.com/Jedi Enclave channel. And we'd love to see you there. Now, the other exciting thing too, leading up to May the 4th, which is our sacred holiday, we are doing a $50 gift card giveaway. Oh. Which is a lot of fucking money, I might say. To get in on that action, you have to subscribe, comment on any stream this week, or one of our Battlefront streams, this stream, and then share one of them. And then you will get a chance to win $50.
On what platform?
Any of them. All of them.
Oh.
Even shit we're not on.
Wow.
Yeah. TikTok, we don't know what the fuck TikTok is.
Pornhub.
Yeah. What? We need a Pornhub account. We really do. And we just...
I'm absolutely positive Jedi Enclave is already taken because, like, not that I've investigated, but just,
that's a lie.
Just the nature of Pornhub leads me to believe that it's already...
It would be funny as fuck if we just put our podcasts on Pornhub.
Yeah. I remember some story a few years back about, I think it was some Marvel movie that got leaked early and wound up on Pornhub or something.
Oh, man. Okay, I'll do some thinking about that.
It was something like that. But.
So, if you want $50, help us get famous. You scratch our back, we'll scratch your back. We'll do the old quid pro quo. It'll be a lot of fun. And then I think that's all of our housekeeping stuff today. So go like Star Wars Hub, go like us on all the stuff, and share the shit out of everything. You'll get $50. Maybe. Not all of you sharing this will get $50. One person on one of the platforms will get. I'll put all the names into a bin and pull one out, and that's how we'll do it.
Some restrictions apply.
Yeah.
Anyway, is it news time?
Yeah, it's news time. What do you got?
So, Matt Lanter.
I know that guy.
Yeah,
I don't know him personally, but I know him.
You know who he is.
Yeah.
He's the voice actor for Anakin in the prequel cartoons, like Clone Wars and whatnot.
Yeah.
So apparently he was doing something for Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't know. Entertainment Weekly got an interview with him, and he said, quote, "There's some new Lucasfilm animation going on. I've been a part of some things I can't talk about yet. You'll see Anakin again," end quote.
Okay, so when you say I can't talk about it and then you just give it away, because like he said a lot.
Well,
that's a lot.
Oh, okay, hang on. If it's the voice actor for Anakin Skywalker, and he says he's involved with Lucas Animation, the logical conclusion is that he's going to play Anakin.
But he's a voice actor. He can play anything.
This is true. Like that one guy who voices all the clones.
Yeah, like you would think that him saying, "Oh, and I'm going to be Anakin," I'm just surprised that Disney hasn't killed him yet. Is all I'm saying.
It seems kind of obvious to me, but
What
who knows?
what animation? What project could they be working? Maybe it's the Star Wars Detours.
That would make sense. I was gonna say Bad Batch in some capacity, but it feels like he'd be able to talk about that since it's coming out so soon.
Would he be doing the voice of Vader?
Probably not, but maybe there's a flashback
Yeah.
to Anakin, or like the exact timing of the show is not quite clear to me. So it might start during the Clone Wars while he's still Anakin, and then like
What Bad
continue
Batch you mean?
into the period after Revenge of the Sith.
I think it's after Order 66, or it's like right like I don't know. We'll know in a week because
Yeah.
that show comes out in a week.
Yeah.
What is that other upcoming Disney Plus property that's animated?
It's not the droids thing, is it?
No, or it probably, that might be animated. I don't know. But it's that anime thing.
Oh, I remember you telling me about that, but I don't.
Visions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Maybe it's that.
Could be.
Yeah, that'd be pretty interesting. Obviously, it would have to be before he got pissed and killed a bunch of kids.
Yeah, but like, so this is pure conjecture. I have no sources for any of this, but wouldn't it be cool if Visions was like an anthology type show where you have a bunch of stories from different parts in the timeline, and it's all about Jedi and how they relate to the Force and whatnot?
I think we can just run with that as true.
We have no sources on that.
Yeah, do you need any sources?
If it's actually true, Disney, please don't send your ninjas after us.
Yeah, like if Mike Zero can make up all the shit he's making up, I feel like we could think of like we want this
Daniel,
real thing.
We hold ourselves to a higher standard than that.
See, that's the thing though, is we could lie and still be on a higher standard.
Anyway,
so
that's the story.
Yeah, Matt Lanter. That's pretty cool. People like him a lot. He's really neat. He did the voice for Anakin in Battlefront.
Yeah,
as well. So
I was
going
to mention that, but we got sidetracked with our usual bullshit.
So speaking of Battlefront, oh wait, are we gonna do the video games thing?
We'll do all the video games together. Go on to talk about Ewoks.
Oh yeah. So this is a short one. It's like pretty short.
It's not the length; it's how you use it.
Yeah, there are two parts of this. First, a meme that went around, and Mark Hamill's response to it, which was not as big as. There's a bunch of clickbait about it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, he responded," and it's like 4 words. But anyway,
he responds to that's Mark
true.
Hamill is so cool. On
Twitter. He talks a lot on Twitter.
He is the anti-Harrison Ford.
Yes, he also has a lot of opinions that might piss you off on Twitter. And I think that a lot of people just choose to selectively ignore that because everyone loves him.
Sure.
But
he's Luke fucking Skywalker.
Yes,
of course everyone
I
loves
guarantee you that if you're of a particular political persuasion, if you went on to Mark Hamill's Twitter, you would hate him.
Probably.
That's why I love him. So that's one thing. So the meme that was going around, the basic gist of it was in Return of the Jedi, when they find Leia, who's just chilling out with the fucking Ewoks, she's wearing a dress that she did not pack and bring with her.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question is, they must have murdered someone with that dress size and like given it to her. So that's the meme, which begs a couple of questions. First of all, why didn't they just kill Leia? Probably because she gave crumbs to Wicket.
Yeah, she was nice to Wicket.
Yeah. And second of all, the Ewoks are monsters.
Yeah.
They were going to eat them.
Yes.
They weren't going to eat Leia. They were going to eat everyone else.
Including R2.
Yes. So there was that. And then Mark Hamill was like, I don't ever want to think about this. That's generally the gist of it. He's like, I mean,
I wouldn't want to think about those cute little furry things with like blood all over their mouths after devouring a person.
But they're clearly carnivorous.
Yeah.
And they were going to eat them.
I know.
They were going to burn them alive.
Yes.
They weren't just going to slaughter them and then cook them. They were going to burn them screaming in terrible pain, and then they were going to eat them.
Yeah.
Ewoks are monsters.
Yeah, they're pretty fucked up.
That's it.
Okay.
That's all about Mark Hamill and Ewoks.
Welcome now to our Star Wars video game corner, where we talk about video games for a second.
Did we just make up a segment?
I guess.
Okay.
So there was a rumor on Reddit about Battlefront 3.
Oh.
Star Wars Battlefront 3.
Everything on Reddit's true.
Yes, absolutely. Except this, which is definitely not true. So someone was claiming that EA was working on Battlefront 3 and had a image that was supposedly proof positive of it, and then
the reason that there was apparently proof positive was that it was allegedly a screenshot from the Frostbite engine editor or whatever, which is proprietary to EA or to DICE. I mean, and that would suggest that it was legit.
And it used a background that was supposedly Coruscant.
Yes.
Which would be a new map in the new game.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, someone else went to this website that has a bunch of like game development resources or whatever and just Googled Coruscant skyline and wound up with the exact same background.
Mm-hmm.
And like they showed how they recreated this supposed screenshot. So that particular set of rumors is false as hell.
It officially debunked. The thing that upsets me about this is that when we were playing Battlefront the other night during one of our streams, there were a couple of people talking about it as if it were like legit and it was real. And I hate always being this person, but I was the person that was like, I really doubt it's real.
What's the Mark Twain quote? A lie can get halfway around the world before the truth puts its boots on.
Yeah, and the truth put its boots on like 5 minutes after our stream ended, because I looked into it a little bit more and saw that someone had like officially debunked it, and I had to send links out to everyone and be like, "Told you bitches, I was right."
So my thing about this is, of course, EA is making Battlefront 3. It is almost certainly in some level of production or pre-production right now. That particular rumor being proved false doesn't change that.
Yeah.
Because EA would be stupid not to make Battlefront 3.
Right.
It would make them so much money.
Yeah, it also means that the leak isn't true if Battlefront 3 ends up coming out.
Yeah.
So and you can always tell a fake leak like this because they put stuff in there that is either unfalsifiable, like you can't prove it wrong, and they will have stuff that caters to the fandom at large, or like their entire wish list of stuff. Yeah. So like in this leak, it was like, oh, Ahsoka's going to be in it. There's going to be Coruscant. One of the things is they were going to combine Galactic Assault and Starfighter Assault into one thing, which I did not know what that even meant.
Yeah.
And all this other stuff that that people like wanted and stuff. So if you're looking at something, it's like, oh, we have a leak, and it's all this shit that you magically wanted.
If it's too good to be, if it sounds too good to be true, it is.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what's our other video game thing?
Next bit. There's apparently a video game for The Mandalorian being made.
Yes.
Presumably for all the new consoles as well as possibly the old ones. We don't know who's making it. There's no details at all. Just that we are really quite certain that it's being made.
This would not surprise me at all.
Not at all.
We were just talking the other night about how if they would have continued development for Battlefront into The Mandalorian,
yes, we would see a Din Djarin.
Yeah, there'd be DLC and stuff, which they really kind of missed a prime opportunity to get more players into that game, because a Mandalorian DLC for Battlefront would have brought more people in.
Guess they're waiting for Battlefront 3 now.
I think Star Wars. I think Lucasfilm was like, you guys need to stop embarrassing us with Battlefront 2. You guys have fucked so much stuff up with this. Yeah. We're trying not to look you in the eye right now. You're so fucking embarrassing.
Yeah. Last bit of news. There's the Fallen Order, Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh yeah, I know that one.
They're making a next-gen release for this summer.
That is awesome.
Yes, it'll be on the new Xbox, the new PS5. Well, they're not exactly new anymore, I guess, but I digress.
The newest.
Yeah. So if you already own the game on one of those consoles, you'll get a free upgrade to the new ones. It'll look prettier, and there's more news coming soon.
Okay, so we're going to have to do it again then.
I guess.
Because we've played that twice already. Once was just me trying to figure out how to play it. And the other one was doing the Grandmaster run, which was a pain in the ass, but not as bad as I thought it was. Now that they're coming out with like a new, quote-unquote, new version, we're going to have to do it again, I think.
Now you get to do it on Grandmaster, but it'll be even prettier.
Yeah, which I'm fine with because I actually really like that game. My Grandmaster run of that game, I was really stressed out about it pretty much the entire time I was playing it. Yeah. But I found myself being a little bit more responsive to how the game mechanics were supposed to be used. and it was, I learned stuff about playing the game, which was kind of cool. And like the first time I played Trilla, like the end Trilla, it took me like a stream and a half to beat her.
Yeah.
And I got to Grandmaster. And by the way, she fucking cheats on Grandmaster.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden she's got a probe droid shooting at you and shit that wasn't there before.
Yeah.
I got it in like one stream.
Nice.
I was like, nice. Yeah. So I got better at it,
Yeah.
like going through these different difficulty levels.
It's almost like practice makes you improve.
Yes. Yeah, I don't believe in that. So yeah, that's really exciting.
That's all the video game
Yeah.
news. There's no more video game news.
There's one tiny thing that I'm reading about here that is it's barely worth mentioning, but what are we gonna do until Bad Batch comes out? I guess in Rogue One they were gonna have an Easter egg about nerf herders.
Scruffy looking nerf herder.
Yeah. So what are nerfs? Well, if you ever played,
they're things that get herded.
They are, and if you ever played Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, which is the old
real-time strategy.
Yeah, and it's pretty much a Star Wars skin of Age of Empire, I think. You could herd nerfs.
Oh, nice.
Which is kind of cool, and you turn them into food. But yeah, in Rogue One, apparently there was supposed to be people herding nerfs. That's what Star Wars news is this week.
Yeah.
That was one of the big stories on the Star Wars news list, was that there was a nerf herder reference in Rogue One.
Giant flashing neon sign on the wall that says "dry spell."
Yeah, I am a little curious about what made them cut it.
I guess it just wasn't relevant, or like it. Well,
at the very least, to be good enough background shit, right?
I guess, but are you willing to invest that much in CG and
on
nerfs? Practical effects to get something that like a 2-second Easter egg?
Yeah, I wonder if it was a part of the original version that was shot.
Yeah, especially considering this movie also had like a bit of a tortuous production cycle.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, they rewrote and reshot almost all of it.
Yeah, so it might have like it was apparently part of the plan at some point, but I totally understand why they cut it.
You know, it'd been really cool. Darth Vader's hallway scene, but not Rebels nerfs.
Oh God,
we
don't even know what nerfs look like.
I assume they look like cows, and I assume they sound like cows.
I assume they look like yaks. That's
fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
And then Darth Vader is cutting through a hallway full of nerfs. Yeah. And then the rebels on the other side of the glass being like, oh look, he's hurting those nerfs.
That'd be so sad.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway,
that's all I have to say about nerfs.
Slow news week.
Yep. Then what else do we have? We did that thing.
Is it time for the most exciting time of the week?
Well, we have to talk about this Luke Skywalker thing.
Oh
yeah,
right.
Shit. So
shit.
Yeah, this is like the clickbaity thing that I put in our title, but it's not really clickbait because this really is kind of
true.
It's also, to me, was legitimately shocking when I saw it. So our Star Wars story times for the last several weeks have been a part of the Vader comic run right now, which are all great. You should go watch them on our YouTube channel. Also, thank you to our editor Luca for those. The gist of it, and spoilers if you haven't read them, is that Vader finds out that Palpatine's hiding a little secret on Exegol, and through different shenanigans with Ochi Bastoon, he makes his way. He gets a Sith Wayfinder and gets to Exegol, and that's where we are.
Yeah.
And this is why we're treading water with Star Wars Storytime, because the next one doesn't come out until next week. But the preview of it came out like yesterday.
Okay.
And I read through it, and I damn near shit my pants because so you know that part it was like the Rise of Skywalker, or at the beginning. Kylo is walking through the big building on Exegol and
the clone farm or whatever.
Right, and he walks into he walks to where Palpatine is, and they're like there's like
Look
a
at me, I have half fingers.
Yeah, little nubs.
I have all 10 of my fingers, but they're all cut in half.
Yeah. Also, look at my tank full of Snokes.
I guess.
Yeah. Also, I've been all the voices in your head. I tricked you.
Yeah.
Vader's walking through that same area. There are still tanks of Snokes, and there's some voice talking about all the miraculous things they've made down here. And Chris, I shit you not, in one of the tanks, it's Luke's severed hand.
Is there any sign of Luke?
No, but maybe. Because this area that we know about was for cloning.
Mm-hmm.
Having Luke's hand down there actually means more for Star Wars lore right now than people, I think, imagine that it does.
We should clarify that in the old canon, Luke, with 2 U's.
Luuke.
Yes,
yeah.
was a clone of Luke, because apparently in Star Wars, whenever you clone someone, you just double
A vowel.
a vowel,
Vowel, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was, that was in the Thrawn trilogy, where, what was his name? Jorah Sabath, an old Jedi, was cloned and was guarding the Emperor's, like, secret laboratory, and they clone Luke with his severed hand, and then Luke fights Luke, and then it's a big deal.
You mean Luke fights Luke?
Yeah, and it is a little weird, right? Now, this has, I don't know the context because there's not very much in the preview. We'll find out next week. So make sure you watch the live show next week because we'll be talking the fuck out of it. They could be doing some kind of, it could be that Snoke was a Luke clone, a fucked up Luke clone all along, which would...
How'd he get like 9 feet tall?
I don't know. It would upset me. I'm not saying I'd be cool with it, but it's a possibility. Palpatine could have cloned Luke somewhere. Maybe, oh my god, it would have been an attempt to have a not fucked up Anakin.
Yeah, to replace Vader.
Yeah. So there's that. So there could be Luke clones running around. Now, did you ever hear about the, like, in the first treatment of The Force Awakens, in JJ's first treatment, the movie was supposed to open with a hand floating through space holding a lightsaber hilt? And it was going to, like, land on Jakku, and then, like, everyone's chasing it.
God, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Now, that's not how it actually ended up happening.
Obviously not.
But it was in the earlier drafts so that Luke's severed hand was going to be a part of it. So, it's...
Whenever Family Guy gets around to parodying that one, I really hope that's how they start their version of it.
Yeah, that'd be
just
pretty...
a hand floating through
on
space.
fingers. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Bonk.
Okay, so... the other, well, we talked about cloning. So this is what I'm worried about right now, is that this is going to become a Doomcock Mike Zero jerk-off fest about how this is how they're going to reboot the sequel trilogy.
And also this means Kathleen Kennedy is getting fired.
Well, yeah, if you look real close at the hand, on the palm in very small letters, it says Kathleen is out. Because you could say that the Luke that we saw in The Last Jedi and the end of Force Awakens was a clone. Which would be stupid, because why would a Force ghost visit Rey on Octo and Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you're allowed to be a Force ghost if you come from a clone.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how that works. But I'm sure that they will try to spin this into some, this is how they're doing it. They're going to erase the sequel trilogy or whatever. But there might be a clone of Luke running around. Who the fuck knows? So I think that's all the news we got for today, right?
Yep. No more news.
Well, do you know what's next?
Whoa, what's next?
Oh, I got to get the button.
Did you press the button?
It's Star Wars Story Time.
Ah, it's Star Wars Story Time!
Yeah. I made that logo all by myself.
Yeah.
But
it looks good.
There's no animation in it. It's just different still images with layers popped on top of every one, and then I just grabbed my saxophone and played all the tracks.
I mean, it still looks good.
I think it looks pretty cool. So, as I mentioned before, we've been doing all the Darth Vader comics, but the next one doesn't come out next week, so I've pulled a couple of other ones to do because they look kind of interesting. So, if you're here for the first time and you're wondering what Star Wars Storytime is, I read comics. I retell them to Chris because he ain't got time for that shit. And I usually get all the details wrong, but it's still a lot of fun anyway.
I generally prefer your versions, actually.
I think they're better. But and if Lucasfilm was watching this right now, if you need me to write comics, I'll do it. Like I will selflessly volunteer myself.
I can't wait for them to do the comics version of Star Wars Detours and hire you to write them.
Yeah. Well, wasn't Seth Rogen involved with that, or Seth Green?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, I'm a better writer than Seth Green. I fucking hate Seth Green. Anyway, so this week, well, first of all, before we get into this, we want to make sure that we give thanks and praise to our friend over at Star Wars Comics Story
on YouTube.
Yes, that's his channel name as well. And he puts up all of these comics usually the day that they release, and it's pretty cool. He's a really cool guy, and it's a if you're into Star Wars comics, his channel is the place to go because he's very on top of getting them out. And also our editor Luca from Luxembourg. I don't know, the fact that he's from Luxembourg is irrelevant, but for whatever reason I keep bringing it up. I think it's just because I'm American, and we consider ourselves cultured when we know someone who doesn't live in America. It's like, I'm a traveled man. I know a man from Luxembourg. His name's Luca.
Luxembourg.
Yeah. Is that his new name?
I guess.
I'll tell him. You have to legally change that now. So yeah, he does all the editing for these videos. He's really great. And yeah. So thanks to him in the comments. So this one is Mace Windu, Jedi of the Republic #1.
Okay.
Matt Owens is the writer.
Okay.
This is during the Clone Wars.
I would expect so.
Yeah, because Mace Windu isn't dead.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either Clone Wars or before. And I think it's pretty early in the Clone Wars. And that's pretty much the setting for it.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So obviously the galaxy's at war. And Mace Windu, yeah. Oh, it's funny. You say that, and I know that that's the crawl for Revenge of the Sith, or
I was aiming for the Clone Wars.
I know, that's what I'm saying though. When you said that, I immediately heard that weird Star Wars theme with the jungle beat for Clone Wars. Yeah. Anyway.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then they do like the fortune cookie saying at the beginning of every episode, like if you
Jedi General Mace Windu is blah 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 fighting off the battle droid.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like the blue script.
Yeah.
It's like literally like a fortune cookie. It's like
to know one's allies, one must know one's enemies.
Yeah. If one chops off one's cock, no longer a cock does he have. Yeah.
Why is it always dicks with you?
I don't know. I am gay.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You wanted an answer. There is your answer. So anyway, Mace Windu has just come back from a battle.
Okay.
That apparently was a little costly, and he's talking to Ki-Adi-Mundi. So they're sitting in this room in the Jedi Temple, and Ki-Adi-Mundi, of course, is in hologram form. Mm-hmm. And so they're sitting there talking, and Mace Windu's
he's probably off, fucking his 3 wives or whatever.
Mace Windu's like, yeah, this battle kind of sucked. A lot of people died, and this whole war thing is like starting to get on my nerves a little bit because it's ugly. We're not supposed to be soldiers. And Ki-Adi-Mundi is like, I have no idea what you're talking about because I'm almost always in a hologram since episode 1. I've suffered literally no repercussions from this war, and I'm sure I'll be fine all the way through it.
Yes, nothing bad will ever happen to Ki-Adi-Mundi.
Yeah, I'll never be leading traitorous clones into battle. So
and then get shot in the back.
I'll be fine. And Mace Windu's like, no, but really, this war is like fracturing the Jedi. Like we're meant to be keepers of the peace, not soldiers. And Ki-Adi-Mundi is, he's like, yeah, I know what you're saying there. I know, I pick up what you're laying down. Mm-hmm. And he's like, we're supposed to be sitting in those big cushy chairs in the council room that look somehow comfortable and very uncomfortable at the same time.
But also, Mace Windu, you're like the best lightsaber duelist ever.
Yeah.
And you invented a fighting style specifically just take advantage of the fact that you really love fighting.
Yeah. And
just saying.
Right. But also, I just want to stress this. I really love those chairs. Those council chairs. Like in the comic, he's like, I really like those chairs.
Okay.
And Mace is like, well, anyway, all I'm saying is that it sucks and that one day we're probably all going to die. And
I mean, eventually, yes.
Well, like because of the war.
And
okay. Ki-Adi-Mundi is like, don't be a drama queen. Anyway, I've got to go fuck one of my several wives. Yes. So see you later. And he like winks out. Mm-hmm. No more hologram. And Mace Windu is like, okay, I have to go to this council meeting now. So he gets over to the council chamber, and he's not like a part of the original meeting. Like they bring him in to report on his mission.
Oh.
So it's this like really weird thing where the council's all sitting there and he's the one in the middle of the room, Yeah. And Yoda's like, well, if it isn't Mace, wait, aren't you like on the council? And Mace is like, yes. And I, by the way, just for the record, am granted the rank of master, just so everyone knows. And
just
Yoda's,
to clear that up right now.
And Yoda's like, nice. Yeah, you are. And Ki-Adi-Mundi like blinks into his chair in hologram form. He's like, sorry, I'm late. I was like fucking my... And Yoda's like, stop. We don't want to know about your wives. By the way, if you're listening to this and you're like, what is this joke about Ki-Adi-Mundi and his wives? Look it up. The dude was allowed to have like 10 wives because his species is endangered. Mm-hmm. and it was like the key to their survival.
He fucked so many.
He had a lot of wives and presumably a lot of kids.
You would think so, yes.
Lots of giant-headed kids. So Yoda's like, anyway, Mace Windu, I know that you didn't really have fun on the last mission. A lot of people died, but we're sending you to this place called Hissrich because we're spread pretty thin and you're really good at the whole killing thing. Please don't make a big fucking scene out of this. Don't embarrass me. Mace Windu, I swear to fucking God, don't embarrass me. And Mace Windu is like, but we're like keepers of the peace, not soldiers. And Ki-Adi-Mundi is like, yeah, okay, just go to the planet and kill him. We already had this discussion earlier.
We know you really like fighting. Just go. Yeah. Just go fight.
And then Plo Koon like jumps in. And he's like, oh yeah, you can't bring any clones with you. Sorry. It's just a rule. But you can take a couple friends. And like Mace Windu like eyes everybody. Like in his head, he's like, I might kill all these guys.
I don't like any of you motherfuckers.
So he like takes a deep breath. And he's like, okay, I'm taking Squid Man, who is Kit Fisto, the blind guy, whose name is Prosit Dibs, and the one hot chick, who is Risa Mano. And Ki-Adi-Mundi's like, nice. Is she married?
Dude, she's not even the right species. Come on,
I don't think it matters to him. He's that kind. And Yoda is like, okay, you can take whoever you want. That's fine. And I know you hate this, but you're a really great leader. Everyone's secretly terrified of you. And you'll probably save more lives than you'll lose. So,
probably.
Yeah, we still love you. We know we know you're upset about the fighting thing,
but also you really love fighting.
Yeah, and don't be a pain in our ass. Just get the fuck out of here. So the whole idea here is that Kit Fisto is a really good fighter. Prosit Dibs, the blind guy with no eyes, has this like amazing connection to the Force. And then the woman Risa Mano is this like really great pilot and engineer. So he's like, that makes sense to me as a 4-man team to go, go do.
So he's got his A team assembled.
Right. And so they're on their ship and they're on their way to Hissrich. And Risa, the female Jedi, is just freaking out about the ship. And she's like, look at this sweet fucking ship we have. Oh my God,
it's so cool.
Yeah, I made some personal modifications and she like looks at...
She go 0.5 fast light speed.
Right. And she like looks over at Windu and she's like, and since you're a tall, dark, and like 100% fuckable, I'm going to mask our entrance so that no one knows we're coming. And Mace Windu's like, that's...
And somewhere on the other edge of the galaxy, Ki-Adi-Mundi is like, ha!
Yeah.
Coming!
Yeah, nice. And Mace Windu's like, awesome. They won't see it's coming. Stealth is great. Wait, what did you say about that other part? And she's like, sorry, I have no time. I have to land the ship. And then in the back of the ship, it's Kit Fisto and Prosit. And they're just hanging out. And Ki-Adi-Mundi's like, hey, blind guy, we're coming up to the planet. He's like, I know. I actually have the Force. Like, just because I can't see physically with my eyes, I know. Yeah. Also, you smell like a squid. So fuck off. Also, fighting is bad.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be doing this. I kind of agree with Mace Windu on this. Yeah. We shouldn't be fighting all these battles. It's a bad spot, and we're all going to get fucked for it. And I lost my spot.
And Kit Fisto's like, yeah, okay, hippie, go smoke some pot.
That's more or less what he says. No, Mace Windu shows up.
Oh.
And he's like, hey, we have lightsabers. Everyone will be fine. Yeah. Just everybody calm down. And here's the thing about this planet. It's really weird.
Okay.
It gets 1 hour of sunlight a month. And everything on this planet's going to be trying to kill us.
How does that work?
It spins very, very slowly on its axis.
But, like, that would mean that you get a very long period of sunlight.
Oh, yeah, you're
right.
Long
period of darkness.
I don't know.
Like, is there another planet that's, like, causing a permanent eclipse or something?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they didn't think through that. Yeah. So, yeah, it's almost always dark except for 1 hour out of the month. Everything's going to be trying to eat us. So let's go do some badass stuff. And Kit Fisto's like, yes,
I live for this shit.
And Mace Windu is like, also, I've got these sweet like Avenger costumes for us. So
nice.
Put those on so we can jump out of the ship and be badasses. And so they land. They didn't actually jump out, but they land. And they start tracking this droid presence, right? Like the Separatists. And they're following them. And they're like, there's a group in the front. It's like Mace Windu and Prosit, the blind guy,
Mm-hmm.
and like a few feet behind them is like Risa and Kid Fisto. And in the front, Mace Windu's talking to Prosit, and he's like, "Hey, you got to stop busting my balls about this. We shouldn't be fighting thing.
Yeah.
Like, I know that you're right, and I've already made this argument, but I don't think anyone's listening. And to be fair, we are very good at killing things.
Yes.
So if we can save some lives with it, I'm sure there's some way to, if the people on Earth can abandon their cognitive dissonance and vote against their own self-interest, we as Jedi can make an excuse to fight things if it's for peace."
Yeah.
And so he's like, "Okay, I'm still right, but yeah, I'll stop. I'll stop fucking you. Like, I'll stop getting in your face about this." And Mace is like, "Fine, I'm sure everything will be fine." And in the back, Kit Fisto and Risa are talking, and Risa's like, "Oh my god, we're hanging out with Mace Windu. Also, look at that man's ass. 100% fuckable is all I'm saying." And Kit Fisto is like, "Yeah, he's actually really cool." And she's like, "No, but really, like, I've copied his lightsaber form. I've read all about him, and he's like in my top 5 favorite Jedi." And he's like, "Wait a second, where am I on that list?" And she's like, "You're not. You're a squid, and squids don't have feelings."
Oh, come on. Kid Fisto's a bro.
"Get the fuck out of my face." And Kit Fisto's like,
"Don't you want to know what he can do with those tentacles?"
"Oh, man."
Hologram Ki-Adi-Mundi. Nice.
Yeah. Ki-Adi-Mundi knows. So Mace is like, "Okay, you guys be quiet back there. There's some danger ahead." And they found a patrol squadron with droids and an Octopatara. I had to look this shit up. That's one of those giant like droid spiders.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that's what their names were. And Mace Windu is like, "Okay, let's do some cool Jedi stuff." And everyone else is like, "Yes,
I love cool Jedi stuff."
And they shift to like one of the droids who's like walking along with his other droid friends.
Rider.
Yeah, and he's like, "We're a little misunderstood. Like, we're sensitive, we like beautiful things, and we just want to share it with people."
Yeah, we're so misunderstood.
Yeah. And he's like, "I get that we have annoying voices, but that was really because George tried to make us more kid-friendly after episode 1. So is that our fault?"
I mean, you can't really blame us
Yeah.
for how we were made.
Exactly. As they're having this conversation, a blue lightsaber or a purple lightsaber ignites in the bushes. And the droid's like, "Ah, shit, we're fucked."
I have a bad feeling about this.
And so the Jedi jump out, and they just start cutting everything down.
Yeah.
And Mace Windu, of course, so his fighting style, put away what you know about his fighting style and the psychology of it.
Mm-hmm.
The other big part of his fighting style is that it, I have to restart the thing.
Yeah.
Not this one. I think I have to make this one longer.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So anyway, yeah. So the other thing about his lightsaber style is that it's named after a creature on his homeworld. That the legend goes that you never know, it's a predator, and you never know how many tentacles it has unless it's dead. Because they move so fast and they'll kill you so quickly that no one's ever able to count the number of ones on any living one.
Sure.
And that's his thing, is that. And by the way, if you want to see some real cool shit in the Revenge of the Sith novelization, when he's dueling with Palpatine, he's like kind of explaining this to him, and like just starts going ham on Palpatine, and he's telling him about this predator on his homeworld, and he's like, "So tell me there, fucking Sith Lord, how many tentacles do you see right now, motherfucker?" And the whole point is that he's moved so fast that you can't. It looks like one lightsaber. Or like, I guess, a ton of lightsabers moving impossibly fast. So here's Mace Windu freaking out with... right, that's exactly the noise it makes. And Kit Fisto is also, like, he likes... He fights and he does that stupid grin. That's like his thing, yeah. And so they're all fighting, and Blind Guy gets... he's like the one that takes down the big spider thing, which everyone's like super impressed by. Because they're like, "Is that guy blind?" And he's just like tearing this thing down.
He's like, "Motherfucker, the Force is my ally.
Yeah.
I don't need eyes."
Right. And then like while he's doing all this cool shit, a super battle droid goes to shoot him, and Kit Fisto's like, "Oh hell no, we're watching him do this." And like he cuts him down, saves him, and the action like lays down and everything. And the blind guy comes up to Kit Fisto and he's like, "Hey, thanks for saving me back there. Turns out I don't have eyes in the back of my head either." And Kit Fisto was like, "Is that a blind joke?
You don't have eyes at all."
Yeah, you
Come on.
are you? Am I allowed to make blind jokes?
Are you making fun of me,
Yeah.
or are you poking fun at yourself?
Yeah, and he's like, "You have no idea how many good blind jokes I have as a blind person." So Mace Windu is like, "All right, you guys did a really good job. Lots of fighting, lots of winning.
Yeah.
Good job for you guys." And then Kit Fisto is like, "Oh shit, I think we're surrounded by something else." And Mace Windu is like, "Fine." He's like, "Let's go beat some more ass."
Yeah.
While this is happening, there's a droid on a hill somewhere over there
Okay.
with binoculars,
Okay.
watching these like strange creatures approaching the Jedi's position. And he's like, "Oh shit, I better go warn the commander." And so he jumps on his stap, that like
Speeder thing.
bike thing, yeah. And he goes back to base. He busts through the door, and he's like, "First of all, we're fucked. Second of all, we're fucked because the Jedi are here. Third of all, we're fucked because the Jedi are here, and it's Mace Windu."
Okay.
And the commander, who is off screen, is like, "You're stupid. The Jedi are just like you. They're programmed drones. They have the Force, but I believe in a more important force in the galaxy." And the droid's like, "Do you mean Jesus or like God?" And he's like,
"No, infinite numbers of battle droids."
Yeah. He's like, "No, credits." And it's a reveal of the bad guy of this series, who's just like, he's some manner of droid, but he's like this Ultron looking guy.
Okay.
Like he looks a whole bunch like Ultron. And that's where the comic ends.
Okay.
And so in all seriousness, the takeaway from this is that Mace Windu is feeling this apprehension
Yeah.
about being a fighter, right?
Sure.
And this is after episode 2, because in a couple of the scenes he mentions Geonosis and how many Jedi they lost, and it's an interesting character trait about him, because if you read the book called Shatterpoint, which is a Mace Windu centered novel from Legends, he has this recurring dream or a nightmare where he's got Jango Fett held with, like, he's got his lightsaber at Jango's throat and everything, and he has the chance to kill Dooku. Now the reason he doesn't is because Jango hits him with a flamethrower, and so he has to escape, right?
Yeah.
In his nightmare, he lets Jango burn him so he could kill Count Dooku, and so that he's able to give his life so that the Clone Wars doesn't begin, because there were Jedi that mentioned that they remember a time when Mace Windu would smile, and how after Geonosis he wouldn't smile, and he carried the weight of all the Jedi that died there, because before Geonosis, like, Jedi would die on assignment, but it was really rare.
Yeah.
And it was never a bunch of them in one spot in the way that they were killed in Geonosis.
Yeah.
So he's carrying all this like crazy guilt about the people that he lost, and it transfers over to this comic where he's just like, what are we doing? Like, we had a good thing going where, we weren't all trying to kill everybody, being literal soldiers and stuff. So it's I've had the pleasure to read the entire series, this particular line, and we'll have more of them coming up, but there's a reason that this other Jedi who's like agreeing with him about the fighting is being so vocal about it, and it's a really interesting kind of a thing. So that's all we got for Star Wars Storytime. Shall we go to our next segment?
Sure.
Our next segment is A Galaxy Further Away.
Yes.
Is that what we said it was?
I think so.
Okay. This is where we talk about things that aren't Star Wars. They're not even Star Wars adjacent sometimes.
Yeah.
Things that we're watching and reading and playing and stuff that we're having a lot of fun with. And the last several shows we've opened up with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because it's been like the big Marvel thing.
Yep.
And spoilers, by the way, if you haven't seen that show yet, please go watch it. The season finale was series finale.
Yes.
Are they just gonna do one run of
I
it?
believe so.
Huh. They had their either series or season
The
finale.
end for now.
Right. Last week, and you know what? I thought it was pretty great. Based on what they had to overcome to get this show to go places. And we've talked about this in a few other spots that they there was this big global pandemic storyline that was like the central part of everything, and they had to cut it out and everything, and it created a lot of like weird clumsy storytelling and editing, and sometimes you can tell which lines were recorded in a studio, and like they cut away from that person but they're still talking, and all of a sudden the recording quality changes, and it's kind of goofy. But the last episode is like Sam embracing the Captain America mantle.
Yeah.
And he, like, within the first couple of minutes, just fucking flies through a window in this almost exact one-to-one creation of the comics when Sam becomes Captain America, with the fucking wings and the star-spangled bullshit everywhere, and the shield and stuff. And it, like, the costume was so cool. And there's some stuff. Some people get kidnapped, and then they get saved, and you find out that Sharon Carter is the power broker, which I guess you were right about.
Yep.
Good job.
Yay.
Though I will say she doesn't ever actually agree that she is.
I mean, it's kind of obvious.
I know it is implied. I'm just saying.
All right, I'll let you have this one.
No. I don't need to have it. I'm just saying that, like, you're probably right. She's probably the power broker. Yeah. But when he's like, "Oh, you're the power broker," and she's just like, "Yeah."
Am I?
Yeah. So that whole thing kind of threw me, especially. So there's an after credits scene with her too, where like she gets an apology from the government. They're like,
"Hey, come work for us," and she's like, "Yeah, okay, I'm gonna go sell all your secrets now."
Yeah, she gets out of that meeting and calls someone and is like, "We're gonna fuck this place up," and it's like, you made out with Steve. You made out with Captain America. How fucking dare you? Your mother is Peggy Carter, or your grandmother.
Something like that, yeah.
What? You can't be a bad guy.
Look,
You kissed Captain America.
Spending 5 years in Madripoor changes a woman.
Yeah, she was real salty about that whole thing, I think. Because the U.S. government did really fuck her.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. And not in the way that Steve Rogers was going to fuck her, by the way.
Hey! Kiadi-Mundi. Nice!
Yeah, nice, yeah. We've painted Kiadi-Mundi to be a total perv.
Yeah.
Oh.
So just thinking about the whole show as a whole, I have kind of mixed feelings about it, because there's some things it did really well and some things it did kind of poorly. Everything involving Isaiah Bradley was brilliant.
I know it. That final conversation they had literally put tears in my eyes.
Yeah. And
I'm glad. And I know. Listen, if you're the kind of person that is wary of heavy-handed politics, like I get that. Like the first season of the Twilight Zone reboot is cringy. Even though their politics I agree with, it's hard to watch because it's almost like they're looking at the camera and winking, and it's like you can be more subtle with it than that. And I know that Falcon and the Winter Soldier is not like ham-fisted, but it's not exactly subtle either.
No, not at all.
But I will say that there are moments in that show where I'm just like, I will never understand what it is like to live in the United States as a person of color.
Yeah. And that actor, like, even more than the writing and the story behind that actor sold the hell out of it.
He was just like so full of rage.
Yeah.
And it was really kind of it was a good moment where I could appreciate that I don't have to understand to know that, like, I can form an opinion about, it being right or wrong. And I think the acting was the other thing too. Is that I don't think there was anyone in this show that was bad, like that irritated me really.
So Carly and John Walker, I feel like were not terribly well written, but those actors did the absolute best they could.
I think with those other parts in it, I think maybe it was some more development. They're like Carly's
Yeah. So my issue with Carly is that she goes from being this like wide-eyed teenage freedom fighter
Yeah.
to bloodthirsty murderous terrorist.
Yeah.
And there is no transition. There's no like intermediate stage that we see. It's just like flipping a light switch.
Yeah. I think what the way we're supposed to take that is that the serum only amplifies like the most dominant traits in you, and that she before the serum she was idealistic almost to a blindness. Like she's very zealous.
Yeah.
And that taking the serum amplified that 100 times.
Okay.
And that she was willing to lie to herself. She was like, it's fine, we'll just kill all these hostages and we'll still get our message out. And the kind of thing with John Walker, where he like his love for his country and his service to the country is what, like it fueled this neuroses with him.
What I saw out of him was that like for the first 5.5, 6 episodes, he was motivated by like his own insecurity and need to prove that he was worthy of being Captain America.
He had some pretty heavy imposter syndrome.
And then Lamar died and he was entirely motivated by revenge.
Yeah.
And then somehow in the finale he's like totally okay with Sam being Captain America all of a sudden.
Yeah. I think it's because he tried to use that fucking DIY shield he made. And it lasted for like 3 minutes and someone kicked it and then just like bent the fuck out of it and he was like, oh.
Well, at least I got these medals on it.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too. I really thought that when you see the scene of him building it, that like his medals of honor were gonna be like on the outside, but it was actually on the inside of the shield, so he could look at it, which I thought was like, okay, that's okay for your like, when you're getting your ass kicked, looking at your medal might help. I don't know.
Also,
it was kind of weird that he was just like, hey, I'm here to help. I know I literally might have beheaded a man in the last episode, but I had a court martial and
we're all cool now.
Yeah.
Also, I talked to Julia Dreyfus for some reason.
Oh my God. Oh, that's the other big reveal, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about the other big reveal real quick.
She is this comtesse or countess or some sort of character who's really behind the scenes powerful.
Yeah.
And like in the very end, she pulls strings to have John Walker made into the U.S. agent,
which is another comic book character who is a part of. It's like the Marvel equivalent of the Suicide Squad. I just can't.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah, Thunderbolt. Yeah, right. So it's like him and Zemo and all these characters that we already know. By the way.
Oh, speaking of, Zemo was fantastic.
Yeah, I know.
I have no complaints about Zemo at all.
He might, other than Sebastian Stan being one of the sexiest human beings I've ever seen in my entire fucking life, Zemo was my favorite part of that show.
Yeah, Bucky was like, as much as I drag on the writing for this show, they did a great job with Bucky.
Yeah.
His arc is just wonderful.
Yeah, that the one scene in an earlier episode, one of the episodes opens with him in Wakanda trying to figure out his deprogramming, and the acting performance he gave was so realistic. Like everyone's had this moment where they get so relieved that they just like sob, and he did that real convincingly, where I was like watching him like, dude, are you okay? And yeah, the whole thing was great. And I think I'd be surprised if there isn't some other kind of like season 2 or something.
Maybe.
They're going to need to have another movie first, I think, because that's how it's going to work. They're going to do these Disney Plus things, and we're going to have like Universe of Madness or Multiverse of Madness and stuff. So
or the is it Shang-Chi?
Yeah, the 10 rings.
Yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
we should go do Battlefront.
Yeah, let's take a look at our chat real quick. Speaking of Battlefront, one of our guys just canceled on us. Yeah, Chief Bastoon wasn't in this one though. 2 guys, 1 basement. That's us. Pornhub, too late. I'm going for it. Star Wars Visions, yeah, Ricky said that. What's up, Casey? Yeah, we're talking about clone Luke. That's how you have to say it. Chris always clutch with sound effects.
I do my best.
That's why I'm here. That's what he meant to say. Anyway, we appreciate you guys. We're going to go play some Battlefront here in a moment, so make sure that you switch over and hang out there. and that'll be a lot of fun. Remember our $50 gift card, share, go subscribe, share, and comment. We'll see you guys here in a couple minutes. We love you. Thank you for the support, and bye.
Bye.